What a funny episode. I heard it was going to be funny, but I didn't know what kind of humor they're going to be using. But I was pleasantly surprised that they incorporated humor that I can relate to. So I like how they were able to balance the elements of comedy and sexy. The way how unserious this episode was is what really got me super hooked. They poke fun of sex. I mean, even though, you know, sexy time is a serious topic, but let's be honest, it can be very funny. You know, people get into different positions, doing interesting movements and motions, making interesting noises. People are doing all kinds of different movements. Someone's bound to get hurt. I mean, you gotta limber up, especially when you get to a certain age. Sometimes the preparation process may need to be a little bit more extensive. So I thought it was hilarious that he started having leg cramps as they were doing the thing. So they had to stop, obviously, and Yak started to massage. So obviously they had to take a pause, take a little breather, watch a little BL with First and Kaotong, maybe sobered up a little bit, and then started touching each other again. And then decided, let's take another stab at it. And then they did it again. This time I think they were successful. I love it. Just two consenting adults doing adult stuff. So hey, poor Doc Wandee though, it looks like he's had a crush, or he's liked Dr. Ter for quite some time now. And on their 8th anniversary, he decided that it was time for him to tell him how he felt. And that he did. And sadly, we all know how that turned out. It looks like Dr. Ter doesn't really like him the way he likes him. Turns out that Dr. Ter likes girls and only sees Doc Wandee as his brother. So Doc Wandee obviously did not take this lightly. He seemed very offended by it and went absolute ham that night. He thought being a good boy really didn't get him anywhere, or at least didn't get him the man that he's liked for many years. So he didn't really see the point of being a good boy anymore. So he wanted to shed that good boy image and go crazy tonight. So poor thing. I think his vision of what a bad boy was obviously to get drunk, be overly provocative, gyrating his hips, throwing his ass in circles, making unnecessary suggestive movements at the club. That was his vision of being bad, and he ended up looking really comical, poor thing. And then he had the audacity to ask why no one approached me, why no one, I mean, everyone seemed interested, but no one approached me. Why didn't anybody invite me to go home with them? Like, oh my gosh, poor soul. He was just doing the absolute most, and he might have thought he looked like he was being sexy and flirty and inviting, but his hips and his shoulders and his overly aggressive pelvic thrust ended up turning people off. So, amateur. I can't hate on him though, because back in my early days, I have done that, just doing the absolute much and thinking that, you know, people thought I was very attractive doing all those pelvic thrusts and aggressive at that. Looking back, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Chill, bro. I can totally relate to him there. Then he runs into Yak out in public and he starts to harass him at the convenience store doing the same seductive movements. And he even threw in a box of condom at him and told him, pay for this and I'll wait for you outside. And waited outside he did. He was doing this overly dramatic like pose up against the glass. It looked like it took a lot of effort and energy for him to do that. And he was just so committed to this good boy gone bad persona. It came across unnatural for him. You could tell that he's tired of it. Like he was exhausted doing all that and still didn't get the attention that he was looking for. Nobody wants me, blah, blah, blah. He overdid it. He struggled to find the balance between too vanilla and wherever he is right now, like whatever level this is on. He didn't understand, like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? He thought I was too boring. Now I think you think I'm too aggressive. So poor thing, he must have been so exhausted. Yak obviously takes him home and they just couldn't resist the temptation. And even with the leg cramp incident, they were still able to power through it. So one night stand on the very first episode, I'm all for it as long as it's consensual. And I genuinely enjoyed this first episode. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for being here and thank you for your time. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss my next video. Until then, I will see you later.